our continent and in between, or if you're here in the room, you are all very, very welcome. So we are having still quite a lot of things that are going on, so I'm going to share some of those with you today. But we start off with a really big thank you for those people who helped during our big expo this last weekend. I even on Sunday during announcements asked everyone who volunteered to stand up. This is, maybe they're not all here today, but it was that important because it just made everything flow better. And it was a wonderful experience, I think, for those who volunteered. I see some that are here, and it was a great experience, the interaction. So this is to say volunteering can be really fun. It can be really cool. So we are reminding everyone that the gala that is honoring Dr. Moira as Minister Emeritus is happening on December the 2nd. That is a Saturday. Now, for those of you who are here in the room, there is more information that's out there on our activity table, as well as you can sign in. And those of you who are coming from far, if you need that information, I think you have it there on the screen where you're coming to. So we're interested in everyone participating to the level that they are doing or are able to do, or depending on how far away they are. This coming Sunday, we have a guest speaker. Reverend Veronica Silva is going to be our Sunday speaker, and her topic is to be or not to be, and that be is like the insect. So we get to see what she has in mind for us on Sunday. We also have the Science of Mind class that happens before our 11 o'clock service. It starts at 10:15. And it goes until 10:45, and you don't want to miss it if you like book readings at all. The book is the Science of Mind textbook, and it's just an ongoing reading. We pick up this Sunday wherever they left off last Sunday, and we've been doing this for quite a while. It's been a great experience for those of us who participate in it. So if you've never done it, 10:15 this Sunday, and you can just join right in. Now, next Wednesday, and we're mainly saying this to those of you who are joining us on YouTube today, we will not have our Wednesday service online. It's only going to be here in this sanctuary. Dr. Moira is going to be our speaker, and we're not online next week because we don't have the technical capability to be able to do that next Wednesday. So if you want to see it and you're local, just come on down and fill up the sanctuary. We would love to have as many people as wish to be here in the sanctuary next Wednesday, and that's November the 1st. Yes, November is going to happen next week. Halloween is next week. November is next week. And on November the 2nd, Thursday, the first Thursday of the month, we will have the Spiritual Discussion Group. This is another one of those community groups that's extremely popular. People really do like to be a part of that. So it starts at 2 o'clock and goes until about 3:30, and at 3:45, we have the Labyrinth Walk next door in Richelieu Hall. Both of those things are very popular with our members. It's such a beautiful experience all the way around. So put that on your calendar if that's something that you like to do. And as we always say, we appreciate our volunteers so very, very much, and we can always use more volunteers. In fact, the tech group has a number of volunteers, but they obviously need more. And so it's important that if you're interested a little bit, just talk to Grant and see if this is in your area of capability and desire. We also are gathering people who are very interested in growing our youth and family department of our center from where it is now to a much greater experience. And so Dr. Sharon will be here Sunday. Talk with her about that. Talk with her about what you think you could offer to that program. It's very important. And there are many other volunteer things that are available as well. Check in at the desk, sign in, if that's something that is important to you. So that is what we have going on. And so I'm going to step into the next part of the service. It just so happens that I put the spotlight on someone else, except that it is on me today, so I get the pink light and all of the good things that are happening. But we begin in prayer, and we begin with the idea, as I breathe deeply, and I recognize the power, the presence of Spirit. As Ernest Holmes said, there is a power for good in the universe available to all, and I can use it. And so I use that power in this moment to move through me, and knowing that everyone in the sound of my voice and beyond is absolutely lifted up in spirit, and the idea that God is absolutely good all the time. It is a wonderful idea, and whatever it is that is weighing on me on this day, I allow myself to just breathe through any heaviness that I may feel, and allow it, at least for the coming moments, to simply float away, because I'm replacing it with that power of love and life and that givingness of Spirit that is so ever present and is within me and each of us. So I breathe into this moment and know that in the moments that unfold, absolutely are divine. And I allow the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, to come from the divine light and wisdom of God. I am so grateful to know that this is so. And I invite all to join me as we anchor this idea and say, and so it is. I think to no one in particular, I titled what I was talking about today. There's not like there's a sign for Wednesday service. Was the key to prosperity. And I'm thinking of it this way because I think of gratitude as being a key to prosperity. So what do I mean by that? Gratitude is a time we think of as the season of gratitude. I have read and heard and maybe even said that as we move into November and Thanksgiving, it's the season of gratitude. But quite frankly, somewhere along the line, I came to think of gratitude as being for all seasons, as something that grew within me. And I learned it at this center. It was when I first had the notion of gratitude, of understanding it in a deeper way. I think we all understand gratitude on some level, and some of it is polite gratitude. We say that we want to, we thank you to someone if they open the door for you or pick up something for you. You know, you're grateful. You talk to people in that way. But the kind of gratitude that I'm really wanting to get into today is deeper than that, and it's life-changing, in my opinion. Dennis Merritt Jones told a story once about a man who came to him and just had a real sorry, sad state of things that he was chatting about. And Dr. Dennis says after about 30 minutes of his kind of talking about all that was going on and was wrong with his life, he asked him, he says, okay, let me just ask you this. If you think of your life as a glass, would you say that it is half full or half empty? The man didn't miss a beat, Dennis said. He said, well, it depends on what's in the glass. If it's bad, then it's way more than half full. And if it's good, it's way less than half full. Said Dr. Dennis. And he talked to him a little bit more, but what he said was, maybe it's your attitude that could shift about what it is that is in the glass. And then he talked to him about gratitude as being the thing that changes what is. There is a writer whose name is Melody Beatty, and she says that gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. And she mentions that it does that in several ways. She says that gratitude is what turns enough to more than enough, and even more than that. And so that is an idea that I embraced early on, just simply being grateful for the things that I have, as opposed to thinking of them as not being enough. For me, that attitude was reinforced and supported, and all words like that, by keeping a gratitude journal. And so when you do that, you keep up with on every day. I mean, I do it every day. I'm pretty faithful about it. I've sometimes been so sleepy, I notice the next night there's this line that drags down through my book because I've fallen asleep while I'm doing it. But it is something that I want to do every day. And so the idea of finding things in your day to be grateful for was probably where I started. It's been a while, so I don't necessarily remember. But I know that at some point, I began being grateful even for things that didn't turn out as I thought that they would. And that was a transforming moment. Melody Bailey also says, it turns denial into acceptance. I don't know if you've had an experience where something happens to you and it's such that you don't want to even believe it's true, and yet that it is. I use the example that happened to me a long time ago when I read a book that said to me, every word you say is a prayer. And I went, no, it's not. It is not. I am not saying every word is a prayer. I'm not going to believe in that. But as I said that day, that bell got rung, and I knew it was true. There's a part of me that just knew. And I had to circle back for a lot of life before I came to an acceptance of that truth. But gratitude happens when you can just simply acknowledge what has happened, what you have done, what has been done to you, whatever it is. That denial just simply is not life-affirming. But when you are grateful, even for something that is not necessarily the best thing, you begin to find benefits for doing just that, for stepping into a bigger idea. There are many things that we cannot change. Many things about ourselves we cannot change. Many things about life that we cannot change. We are taught in this teaching almost from the beginning that we change no one else. We only change ourselves. How many times do we have to say that to ourselves? As many times as it takes, is my answer. Because I don't think that stops us from trying to occasionally. Because if you would just do this, you would be so much better off. And not only that, I would too. But life doesn't really work that way. And the quicker we come to acceptance of what is, the more at peace we are. We were talking in the class that comes before this about, the chaos that is in part of our world and how we manage that emotionally, because it's very emotionally traumatic. And I think thinking about this in some way that this teaching supports, not the chaos that we may see and is happening, but an acceptance of what I can do. a level of what I can do without denying that it's happening. And of course, in any situation, all I can do is to manage my own thinking. And I may have to keep doing it. Every time something runs across my radar, however that is, I may have to manage it yet again. And I don't blame myself for there you go again. I allow myself to know that there is compassion, there is more than compassion, there is just so much emotion for what people are enduring. And yet, I serve anyone, whether it's someone that I live with, someone that I work with, or someone that is across the way, I serve them better when I can know that there's a power greater than I am. And it is operating in my life and in the lives of others, and I surrender to that idea that good comes from something in a way I can't possibly understand, and continue to do what I can in the physical world to make things better, but to know that there is a greater power. And that's the gratitude we're looking for. I am grateful that that power exists and that I can use it. And I'm grateful to know that it works. When we change ourselves in a positive way, or even in a negative way, but I'm thinking of it as positive, there is an atmosphere around us that radiates from us. It's part of that consciousness thing. That's why many of people walk into this sanctuary for the first time and say, oh my gosh, it just feels so good. And I've been in discussion groups and classes where I just feel so accepted, so safe, so all of those positive words. It is an energy. We don't see the energy, but goodness knows we feel it. And that is the kind of thing we are seeking. And each of us is part of contributing to that. We don't just receive it from other people. We are generating an energy. One of my favorite lines from Emma Curtis Hopkins says, "Rise up, my soul, and heal the sick wherever I walk." That is powerful. And she imagines that people are loving God or connecting to the world in a better way simply because the consciousness of who she's encouraging is absolutely doing that. And she affirms that, Emma does, over and over again, the power of each person to be that. And every one of us in this room have that capacity. And I'm incredibly grateful to know that for myself and know that for everyone, because there is nothing that's true about any one of us that isn't true for all of us. Do you believe that? It's absolutely true. You want to know that for yourself, to know that you have that capacity. Another thing that Melanie Beatty says, that gratitude transforms chaos to order. And that's what we were referring to in the class this morning, is that the more we know that there is order in this world, that I am grateful for all those pockets of things that are working, that area expands. It expands in ways that I may never see, I may never completely understand, and I don't have to. I simply get to know that it's so. And whenever there's confusion, and in our lives, there are times when I don't understand what's going on. There appears to be confusion. But I know that clarity, by my use of gratitude, moves from confusion. Because confusion is just in my own mind. if I don't understand what's going on, why this is happening, at some point I just say, God knows. God knows and shows me not only the way to walk, but shows me in my own understanding. Oh, I get it now. And so when we continually are grateful, there are many ways in which it just shows up, that good that flows. I am at a point in my life where I'm looking for answers to a number of things, including the book that we will go to in our book reading class, the next book, including different things for another project that happens in January. But what I know is that it unfolds. I mean, at times, and it happened again yesterday, the book almost falls open in front of me. Oh, that one. It happens to me, it's the second time it's happened to me, if not the third time. And so I like to know that, because in my prayer work, I'd say, make this easy for me. Don't make this hard. I want to make sure I get it. And so all of the clarity is what I know from that inspiration that I depend on. But so whatever I'm confused about, I know that order comes from that, and clarity that I do understand. And as I keep knowing that, it just gets more and more clear. And finally, she says that gratitude can turn a stranger into a friend. That people that we meet are able to come to us in ways that we might not be prepared for. I've definitely had it happen to me, people that I have engaged in ways that just seemed to be spontaneous at the time and turned out to be something that actually changed my life. And so gratitude to me is the key to prosperity, because it governs the way we think about everything that comes in. Prosperity comes in very many forms. I have known this for quite a long time. I see prosperity as success. I see it actually as generosity, because as in being generous with people, you increase your own sense of happiness and well-being. I did an experiment one weekend, sometime, I don't know when it was, maybe it was a year ago, where I went to the farmer's market and started leaving money around. I got the suggestion from something I read. And I had to alter it because people were saying, oh, you dropped this. You wanted to give it back to me. So I had to start doing it another way that was a little bit trickier so that people would just find it. But I can't tell you, I was walking on water by the time I left. I overpaid for things I bought. I just did, that generosity feeling made me feel prosperous. But the gratitude that I received was enough to just lift me up as well. It was wonderful. I invite you, we're not talking about a lot of money. We're just talking about doing something spontaneous. I did another thing back during pandemic. Spiritual Discussion that meets next Thursday also met in Wilson Park for a while, where we needed to be outside. And so I had a Sunday when I can't remember what happened, but I don't even remember the reason for it, but I had made all these envelopes that had money in them. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but some money. And a note that was inside, and I sealed them all up, put them in a basket, and I was going to pass it around at the end. And it was based on something that someone had said and that I was sort of piggybacking on. Turns out that particular Sunday, I didn't know it ahead of time, but I had to be away. There was some reason that I couldn't be there. So Mark and Monica, who do the spiritual discussion, passed my basket around. And I made what I thought was enough, because I counted how many were there, and most of the time, and I think I added a couple. And so All of the envelopes were taken except for one. Now, in the course of doing that, I had some envelopes that had $1 in it. Some of them had, maybe $5 in it. It was a varying amount. I don't know why I did it this way. It's just what I did. But then one of them had more than any of the others. I just did it that way. So when I got the envelope back, I knew before I opened it that it was the one that had the most in it. I must have needed the message that gratitude comes back in terms of your prosperity. And I used that money in a very special way. So I do think of gratitude as the key to prosperity. It's the key to your own feeling about what you're putting out there, because when you are grateful, when you just go up to someone and tell them that you're grateful for what they do, you can see someone transform in front of your eyes. And when you are grateful in special ways, which is more than thank you for someone opening the door for you, then to me, that is just very good etiquette. It's polite. But when you go beyond that and put your own self into your expressions of gratitude, it changes you as well as the person that you direct that to. And I do believe that it is the key to prosperity more than any other one thing. And we're just practicing. When I was teaching the course about spiritual principles and practices, gratitude is considered a practice. And ladies and gentlemen, we never perfect it. We're just practicing. We're just practicing being grateful every day in many, many ways. So of all of the ways that you can be grateful and show your own and grow your own gratitude, there are many ways. The gratitude journal worked for me. Something else may work for you. Many things can contribute to that feeling. But being kind, by being consciously kind and thoughtful to those that you come in contact with, there is not a greater gift that you can give, especially when it's a challenging moment. Allow people to be themselves, to be who they are, especially in our community, but especially at the grocery store. I have gotten to the point that I am especially kind to people at the grocery store. There have been times when I followed someone at the grocery store that was particularly rude. And so I started that day making that a habit, and I've kept it up. So today, I encourage you to just take this moment now. Close your eyes, if you will, and think, what is the first thing that comes to you that you feel grateful for? And take that thing and linger over it. Maybe ask yourself, what can I do with that gratitude? Where can I go with that? Is it enough for me to just simply know this? Because whatever I do, whatever we do, it is enough. Each of us is enough as we are. And making ourselves prosperous and safe and loving in this world is the best thing we can do for ourselves. And the fact that it radiates out from us and heals the sick wherever we walk is just the bonus. So I breathe in this moment knowing that this moment is perfect just as it is. I allow it to be so in gratitude and say, and so it is.
So it is.
So it And so, conveniently, it is now time for us to share our prosperity, to show some gratitude. Ruthie has the plate, and she is going to be passing that around. And so I invite you to consider what it is that this center does for you. And as somebody said Sunday, we want this place to stay here and be here, for not just for us, but for generations to come. And so it does matter. And it's not, again, Carol Gillis spoke about this on Sunday, it's not the amount as it is the energy and the commitment. And so I invite you to share with me the affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my treasure, and I give my gift with love, and so it is. Thank you, Ruthie. Does anyone have a question that you would like to have answered? The wonderful Grant, who's working back there by himself, I might add, is ready with the microphone if you want to ask any question. And if you are happy with no question, then I'm happy too. And so it is. That's great. And so it is. So I thank you for being here, and I hope that you're looking forward to other activities that we've gotten. You know what? I just realized when I was doing announcements, I left something off, something really important. On November the 12th, we have the Pledge Potluck. It is on November the 12th, so it's about 3 weeks from this coming Sunday, and I hope that all of you are at least considering coming. It's on a Sunday afternoon. It's going to be right after services. And just sign up to be part of someone's table, or you could even host a table. I mean, we have 5 people at least that are out there hosting, but we can do more. So if you want to come, if you want to host a table, either way, put your name down. And know that you'll be a part of a lovely, lovely program. It's one of the most fun community things that we do. There was a woman here Sunday that I just met Sunday who's recently moved to the area, and what she's interested is in community events. I said, boy, do I have the event for you. And so she is going to come and be at our tables. And so I'm really excited that she says, yes, I'll be there. She is ready to just dive right in. I was so delighted talking to her. So it's an opportunity to be able to do that. So with no further questions, then we are done, and so it is.